text him and ask him is he gonna cut his camera on?
Maybe not.
Okay, that's fine. No, I just wanted to know so we can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just voice.
What it do, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Reckless Rundown. Usually we have the oldies going down, but today I decided to come to you with something a little bit different. So today I have, it's an amazing thing, so I'm excited as hell. But it's your boy Mike, and I have a couple of people here with me today, and I'm going to, always, I allow them to introduce themselves. So let's go ahead and start off with the lady of the day, the lady of the hour. Let's go ahead and let her run it, and let's run that. How you doing, ma'am? How you doing, Miss Andrea?
Hey, Mike. It's Miss Heavenly Adrienne Siwadi, and we are here today representing our family, the Burgess family, and our ancestors. First, Rufus Burgess, and we also have my uncle on the line as well.
Okay, Mr. Burgess, would you like to say hello to everyone? I'll give him one quick second. He got to unmute himself, and he will be speaking to everybody, letting everybody know hello. Okay.
He can't hear. He can't hear the audio.
He's on with us, so he can't hear us talking.
It sounds like it's a little distraught. He said it sounds like aliens.
Okay, guys, you know what we're going to do? This is what I'm going to do. Yo, no, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and hop into the mix for just a quick second. Let me go ahead and take care of the technical difficulty for one quick second. So I'm going to hop in our OD mix, get us a little something old going as we relax getting home and we get into the serious situation. So what I'm going to do is let's get these oldies going, let everybody know how to get home, relax while I get this taken care of. Be right back with you. and get everything back going. Now, we have Mr. Burgess here, and again, can you go ahead and run down to everybody why we're here today, what we're talking on?
Yeah, I mean, we're really talking about, a story pertaining to not just California gold rush history, but the story ties to Virginia, Kentucky, and Maryland, because that's where, we, my, our great great grandfather left his autobiography detailing his life, got brought to California during the gold rush. And the gold rush has never talked about the African American or black pioneers that were down there mining for gold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're here today to talk about, really. These hidden gems, hidden secrets.
Hidden secrets, hidden secrets. Okay, okay. Well, let's definitely talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, I have you and your niece here today because at the end of the day, your family was wronged tremendously. I've went through every link that I could get a hold to. I have sat back. I have watched your interview. I must say, for one, I was not involved, but I must tell you this. I apologize. That was completely wrong. Your family was wronged in a horrible way, and you know what? I am honored that you guys gave me the chance to be able to let you guys come and tell your story here today. So I have looked in on your book, and I just want to tell you, I loved it. I purchased the book last night. I went over it, and I love how you are a person that is coming, saying what you have to say, but you are coming with the facts, the documents. You are coming, backing up, and with supporting everything you are saying. So for one, I just want to tell you, amen. You are awesome. I love the way you coming at it. You're not coming at it half mass. You're coming at it definite 100%. Can I ask you this? How did it feel when you first actually made it back and actually made it back to the actual properties, when you made it back to and touched the ground that your grandfather was originally taken from you? What was that feeling like the first time you actually made it there?
Well, I mean, so I'll tell you this is, the feeling when all the family came out and we really walked the property, because I had a better understanding of how much it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even begin to describe it. We had been to that park so many times and, told the oral narratives, not the oral, but the written narratives, by others of the small areas of land that we own. And so really writing the book was part of the refreshing, telling truth. And, I want to touch on two things that you said. You talked about the documents and what happened to our family. And, I'm honored to stand here, be here live, talk, be in national news, TV, you name it, right? Sharing our story. But this story happened to not just the Burgess family. There were other black families that were there and descendants, and even some immigrant families.
Mm-hmm.
That were, I call them casualties of war, because, obviously institutions have done the unthinkable, even to their own kind, all to take away from black people making a way for themselves. So I'm happy that, our great grandfather left us the roadmap, followed up by documentation by my mother, and, all the siblings, because there's so many people that will never, ever be able to prove. And I think the institutions know that, but what our family can do is lay the groundwork for why there is a need, as we look at a call for reparations on a national stage, because of what was done to black pioneer families. And we, like you said, we have the paper to back it up,
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to call the Burgess family and say, hey, you should just be proud, because they all want to tell our stories
Right.
after we're dead, and they don't tell all the stories.
They tell what they want.
They tell what they want, and they don't have our oral narratives that have been passed down from generation to generation, and all of us descendants hold that. And that's common with any race of people that have been oppressed by an oppressor. There's an oral narrative that never makes it. So I'm honored, and I'll land there.
Okay, definitely. With the situation that is going on, can I ask what is the latest going on with the situation? Because I've seen what the last that was in the news and everything, but is there an update on where you guys are with the situation? Have they recognized, and are they doing anything toward rectifying the situation so far?
No, I mean, there's been slow to little progress. Really what's the state hasn't moved off their position, although, I'm aware that they did request some records, so they're looking into things. I still have yet to have a sit-down meeting with the governor of this great state of California, who, if he is the man to be the president of the United States, ever, then I can't think of a better story for him to, really show up and, take off the glasses of, I want to hide behind this or not do it. But I would hope and believe that, they're doing their investigative research. I look forward to sit down, and all I've been asking for the last 3 years with state parks is to truly sit down and look at the documents that I have with the oral narratives and the discrepancies and the manipulation that I can point out on maps that are currently held in institutions today that we're following, but those maps were counterfeit and they were manipulated by some bad characters in our state. And so those were some of the just challenges that, my family faces. And, I just say this, without those deeds, we have some of the first deeds that this state was issuing to people in 1872, with the state seal on it.
Wow.
So we got some of the first actual deeds, and I don't know that even exists anymore in California history, right? A deed going back that far. And, I know our history, and it's time that we begin to tell our own stories, because too many other people have made up the stories. And, it's really sad that I would think you and I don't know, we're not far apart in age, and if we are, I just say black don't crack. Right? But you and I, grew up not ever being told of slavery in California, or not ever, I reached out to the San Francisco 49ers because they have a Read for Justice, social justice, right? Mm-hmm. I can't think of a better team or a better league, association to talk about this, because nowhere in history do we ever talk about the black or the African American gold rush pioneers.
Right.
Our family, and I'm a direct blood living descendant of that, as well as, Adrian sitting, in the studio, my niece, right? We're direct descendants to that line that came here before this state was even part of the Union. And so, yes, I've reached out to the San Francisco 49ers, and this book needs to be in every school in California, but throughout the nation. Right. Because what it doesn't do, it's not going to hit on critical race. It's going to hit on some real American history. I corrected a guy today and said, I don't want this book to be about black history. This is California history, but it's American history. Mm-hmm. You see, my great-great-grandfather started his life in Mecklenburg, Virginia. Okay?
Right.
And then from Virginia, ended up in Kentucky, from Kentucky to New Orleans, from New Orleans to California. And wife and family taken in Washington, D.C. We didn't already hit some major places. And so there's no reason, because there are people that don't know their loved ones who they are because of changes of last names and some of the deceptive ways that were used, which the book talks about in a nice children's way. Right. Because I don't want kids to be mad at people, right? But burying somebody under a slave name, under a name, and saying he had no living heirs in this state and taking all of his assets. See, if they did this to our great-great-grandfather and great-great-great-grandfather, what do you think they did it to other people?
Right.
Several people.
And when we look at why black folks in America, foundational black folks, don't have generational wealth to pass on, well, it was these tactics that did it. And not every white person had something to do with it. There were some bad characters throughout our local government and throughout the local jurisdictions that did what they wanted to do. And the state of California failed to protect all citizens fairly and equally. And
right.
So when I talk about the debt that's owed to our family and the other black families after that, the Monroe family, the Burgess family, if they're Williams descendants or Wilsons, the Gallaghers, they were Irish, even lost some land too. But again, the Gallaghers, when you look at the Gallagher family today, who came over after the gold rush, they still have a lot of land and generational wealth. And yet we're rebuilding again, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps again. So what I write a children's book, and I put together a curriculum that follows all of California history, and it's got a STEM guideline to it. There's no reason for any school to ever say no to this book. In fact, Dr. William Verity, who's a professor at Duke University, his back of the book blurb was so powerful that I chose not to put it on the book because I didn't want a school district to tell me no, but it was true.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that the reason, our book is the reason for why there's a need for redress, for Black Americans across the United States. Dr. Darity is a well-known professor, and he wrote From Here to Equality. I wouldn't dare ask him to change what he put, but I will use that for conversation because, no, there's an adult version of this book that needs to be had, but I can appreciate you having me, here for an audience to listen to me so that, those opportunities for me to come out and speak on a higher level are there, but the book will at least start the questioning. And again, it's designed to show the inclusion because there were white folks that did what they were supposed to do. They even got overran by these, these unorthodox, unfair, right, characters within our institutions. And so that's what America is facing today, and that's what we're rumbling with. How do we make this right? Well, before we make it right, we got to tell the truth and tell all the truth.
Right.
And so the Burgess family story tells that. And as Curtis Bunn, 10-time bestseller, wrote on the back of the book, in the simplest form, and it belongs in every shelf, every bookshelf across the United States of America.
I believe so. Well, what I'm going to do is I would like to take a quick minute, quick minute or two, and get into a couple of ads that we had that was ran, so people can kind of hear what's going on. So let's take a minute and do that. We'll be right back, you guys, right here on Hot 702.5.
About how they want to do it.
I don't want to move people off of their lands.
We would be just as wrong today if we kicked people off of land regardless of how they got it.
The family says they would also like to see their history better represented in educational materials throughout the park.
If you have a 170-year history in a town where gold was discovered, that story needs to be told.
ABC 10 asked California State Parks about that and the Burgess family's efforts to reclaim land.
What I can help somebody with is if there's a story that needs to be told or would like to be told, I have no problem listening to that and coming up with a solution and maybe expanding those stories. But I can't speak upon the potential reparations or his ask of that. That's beyond my scope.
In 2020, California State Parks launched their Re-Examining Our Past initiative, which is taking a critical look at contested place names, monuments, and interpretation, and seeing if change is needed. As for the reclaiming of land, there's not currently a process for that. For family member Adrian Sawadi Mejia, Saturday's Family
All right. So, with that being said, that right there was when you guys actually first touch bases back at your family's property, correct? That was the interview. That was a lot going on there. That was a lot of family, though, y'all. I'm gonna be real. That was a lot of family. How did that feel to be actually for your family, for all of you guys to be together on your grandfather's land and actually knowing the fight that you guys are actually in the fight together?
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what, that moment in time was surreal. What the video didn't show, it just showed, all the kids along the hillside playing without phones.
Yes.
just being children. And then just to have that community of, even the people that weren't family that came, it was just an inclusive environment. It's like, what I think the town represented before it was, bustled up and made a state park, and so, I hope to have one of those again with all the families, that were there and swindled out of land. But, from my research, I'm just going to tell you this. I mean, I've got the grant deed, when the judge was given that township in 1873. And there were only two people, Nancy Gooch and Rufus Burgess, that were given what I can find is the two biggest parcels of land in that town. Now, the Gooch family, who ended up being Monroes, and I believe there's some relation some sort of way, ended up being credited with over 400 acres. And today, the park will say that, well, the Monroes are all dead, but Pearlie Monroe actually had a wife. They're living descendants that were married that were entitled to a whole bunch of land.
Right.
And, these legacy organizations who I mentioned about, but the NAACP being one of them, because I've told them they need to stand up and come out. What they did in their involvement for literally taking land from black people, selling it to other people, right? The NAACP was entrusted to do the right thing for these black pioneer families. And what they did is they took the majority of Mr. Monroe's estate, right, because they were made executor of it, gave his brother $2,000, used a will that, the will is suspect because his wife wasn't included in it. And they began selling parcels of land in 1963 after he was dead. And these parcels of land that they sold were all the prominent white families. Now, this NAACP, last time I checked, it was supposed to be for colored people, right? The National Advancement of Colored People, but identify for black Americans. But yet, this is what happened in California. And the Sacramento branch, they need to be called out as well as the national branch in New York. See, I'm tired of playing nice with these legacy groups that say they're for us and they're not for us.
Come on.
Okay? And when I send them letters of how they can actually atone, we can't ask the state of California or the federal government. We can ask them to pay us reparations, but these organizations like the NAACP that had a hand in it, they need to pay too. And I asked the president of California, what are you doing right now for foundational pioneer black families? Because I'll tell you what, the documents that I have that show you guys getting all this money and the family getting nothing, and then not even questioning why Mr. Monroe's wife was not included in this counterfeit will. So that's the history of these legacy orders. No, we got to bring those skeletons up too, right?
Wow.
So that's what I want people to know too. The Monroes were hurt. They still have living descendants who have yet to have spoken, but that's coming. There's a couple of them that I know of. The Gallagher family, as far as I know, they said they were kicked off of land too. They happen to be Irish. And we don't even want to talk about the indigenous tribes that were there, but here's the thing about the indigenous tribes. A lot of them got something. In fact, our governor's talking about $100 million so that they can buy back ancestral land. So my question to the governor is, well, what are you doing for the pioneer black families that only rebuilt land, were robbed by these same institutions that you are in charge of today?
Right.
Wow.
California State Parks is one of them. And the National Park Service, you tell me why in 1988 the National Park Service came in and resurveyed land that corresponds to our deeds in 1871. You also tell me why the black families were basically evicted off of their lands. It was condemned. And when I go to that park today, you got private buildings all throughout that park, and not one building or piece of land is owned by a black person. You see, El Dorado County wanted to eradicate black folks, and they did that. And they did it in Coloma, too. Placerville has a very small amount.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this, it's changing. Because that same old sentiment's dying.
Right.
There are people that don't have those same views as some of the people did. And I like to believe and think I know there's a very small few that carry that. I hope that by you talking and getting people to listen, we can build that courage up for a nation and say, this is not about black and white. This is about humanity. This is about America.
Well,
I'm American. I just happen to be black.
It's going to go far because, for one, I have reached out to a few people, so that has listened to the story. Neon from Las Vegas, Live with Neon.
Oh, yeah.
Is actually would like to. That's something that I wanted to announce while we were here. She would actually like a interview with you guys. Okay. So she's national, like
Neon.
she's okay.
Right.
So not just that, but then with this story again, with me, I'm honored that you guys are here talking with me. I actually want to keep up with it, so I actually plan on like doing a trip to California because I actually want to get out there. I actually want to actually try, make my way out.
If I may share, and I'm just going to throw this one out here. I got a call this morning that Roku wanted to follow us and document the story as well. I was going to share that. There's so much. There's so much to this.
It is.
It's really deep. And
it's really delicate. It needs to be handled the right way.
Exactly.
And I love you guys are actually manning it yourself and not allowing someone else coming in to take over and try and tell your story for you.
No one can tell our family's story better than us. And that's why I've taken the time to educate myself. Once I found out the information, if I have any questions, I reach out to my uncle. I'm like, Uncle,
Because I see he's known it. I love it. I love it.
That way I can share this information properly with my children, grandchildren, and anybody else that's interested in learning.
Yes, and oh my God, how did it feel? How did your grandkids take to when they heard this, or how did your kids? For both of you, that's a question for both of you. When you guys got the knowledge and you passed it on to your kids, what was the expressions? Because I'm sorry, I know you guys are wondering why I keep asking, because for me, when I read this story and started listening up on it, like, I got goosebumps. To me, it was a chill. I was saying to myself, like, I would love to be able to tell my kids, because I know what my family did here in Vegas, to be able to go back and show the documents, you guys, you know what I mean? It's a difference when we have those family stories, because everybody has those family stories that's been passed down, that's been told. But the difference is you guys have those family stories that's been passed down, that's been told. You guys have that proof. You guys have that backup. So how did it feel when you actually were able to tell your kids, like, hey, look, we actually, right out there that's supposed to be ours. How did that feel to actually speak?
Uncle, you want to go first? Because I
I'll tell you this. I mean, listen, kids don't. I was a kid and I didn't have an appreciation. I didn't understand it, right? And I think to some degree my kids don't really understand it or have appreciation. They will in time, and that's
in
okay.
time, yes.
Right? They will in time, and that's okay. And so that's why I chose to really write a children's book, because that park is a place where kids go and they get a field trip every year. And so if I can begin to change the minds of these young kids as they're going, and they know that not only did black people in the town own the church that the guy that they say discovered gold, right, was buried in, or his funeral services were held in, they had a lot of orchards and they were a major part of this whole community. That makes a difference in all kids. When you got the white kid and the black kid and the Chinese kid or whatever else, just that level of proudness. I was always proud to know that my great-grandfather and great-great were the blacksmith of the town, but there was little to nothing ever mentioned about them. So that was hurtful. And so I would tell you, and I'll tell anybody listening, is that we have to begin to tell our own stories. And that's why there is the children's book, because if I waited for somebody else to do it, they wouldn't have done it. And then if they did do it, there have been stories written that weren't necessarily true.
Right.
And so that power comes back with, no, you can write a book, and it is about your family. We just happen to have some things couldn't be erased. When they said that Rufus Burgess, and you Google his name and you look him up, was a proud member of the Methodist Church, and, his house was one of the nicest homes in the town and one of the most upstanding colored people, right? Those are the things that were said, but nothing else.
Right.
Can't erase that, right? So what else did he do? And that's why I tell you, the oral narrative is so powerful. Listen, other people have been making up stories, factual, fiction, but mainly fiction about us for years. Okay? It's time that we begin to share our own stories with more of the fact and a little bit of, when you read the children's book, there's not really fiction in there. There's just some things I choose not to put because it's not for a child.
Yes.
Right.
Right? You know, and there are things that you can put in a way. You know, I don't tell the children that, you know, dirty men came in, you know, manipulated maps, right?
Right,
I just tell them, you know, we solved the puzzle as to how the land was taken, right? So those are just the things that we do. I don't go in all the detail, but there's another book coming. I mean, like I said, great-great-granddaddy left a 2-page autobiography detailing his life. I didn't put that in the book for a reason, because that's a higher level. But that will come out in another book, because we hold that document, the original today. That's valuable. And so when you have that, that's power, and that's what I want people to know.
And Uncle,
your family.
that is the gold. You know, that is the gold in the whole, this whole situation is the truth, you know, and family and understanding.
It's a major key in what you're doing.
Right.
It's a major key. It's a major key. And the fact that you guys can actually come together on this situation, put aside whatever problems, and do what is best for the family.
Right.
I commend you guys. A lot of families out here, I'm going to say this, I don't know how you guys do it, what y'all got going on, but you guys need to take lessons. For one, know your family history. Know where you came from, know what you are made of, so you can actually do like they did, stand up and fight the fight to make those, because again, like he said, this isn't just a one-person situation or a one-time situation. This happened multiple times in multiple places. So again, I'm gonna just say this, y'all might need to do like they did and go check up on your history and find out what you guys can find out, because at the end of the day, everybody has a past, has a history. Do you know yours is the question of the day.
Right.
We know you guys. Look, I definitely know y'all do. I know you guys know yours. I know you guys do. But the question is, do everyone else? You know what I'm saying? So, can I ask? Well, we know there's a book coming. What else is next? What's next?
The book is here.
No. We know there's one book. He says there's a whole nother book coming. No. I listen well, baby. I listen well. I know there's one book already here.
Right.
But Uncle say there's a whole nother book coming.
And that
so what else is What else can we expect?
Book reading.
Well, I mean, there's
too. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. There's a lot. Yep. Reading. I mean, obviously, you know, I've got teachers already asking me to come and talk to their classrooms. You know, I and then to have, you know, Bruce's Beach take place, and then Where's My Land show up to kind of help chariot some things. So immediately next, you're going to see from the family a petition put together, you know, and we're looking to get, you know, I'd like to see 1 million signatures on it.
Right.
Because like I said, the governor of California, there's no secret. He's going to be the next person that goes for president of the United States. That's just clear. It's clear as day to me. And so at the end of the day, the United States has a debt that's owed to some people.
Big debt.
Right? A big debt. And I'm not even talking about the debt for unpaid labor for I'm not talking about. Let's talk about that once we were set free.
Right.
And what we established, how all that was taken away. Right? So that's a debt. And then when we talk about the systemic systems that everybody's had to drive through, and when we look at it and we understand, you know, I sit on councils now and I talk as to a lot of people don't know and understand. Why don't we have Fortune 500 black companies that are foundational? You've heard my videos or shared some of them. Levi Strauss, well, listen, the way I got it, my great-granddaddy was fixing the wagon wheels for Wells Fargo as they were driving the Pony Express through Coloma. Right? Started at the same time. So you got these same companies, these same last names, and they're Fortune 500 foundational people. Nothing against the Waltons and Walmart, nothing against Wells Fargo and those families. Vogel Wines, who got here in 1860. Vogel is international in 3 countries in all 50 states, right? And nothing, there was no difference between Mr. Vogel and Mr. Burgess except for their skin color.
And the recognition.
Vogel, up on his wall, he's got 5-6 generations of family, and they're all in the family business, and they're nationally known. But you got the Burgess brothers rebuilding a legacy, pulling ourselves up by the bootstraps again.
Right.
And you wonder why we don't have manufacturing or distillery. All those things were taken And so when I sit down with suppliers, I need them to understand, and I get it. Listen, we've all been fooled with our history. Nobody's been taught this stuff.
True.
But we have to be intentional if we truly want to give opportunities. Next time you're in Vegas, ask MGM how many foundational black folks they got supplying them products.
I mean, I worked there,
Right.
so I could possibly
Listen,
tell you.
None. That's the answer.
Listen, so what I'm telling you is that, it always comes down to something. Well, it costs too much or this. Well, okay, if all this was taken, so when I talk about reparation and what's owed by this government, I'm sorry, but the federal government, California state, every state spends billions buying commodities every year. One thing that our folks have been doing since we got off these ships and been brought over here, right, have been innovative. I can't tell you how many recipes have been created by us and then we don't benefit from them, right? There's no reason why our cornbread mix should not be in every grocery store. Our hot links in every shelf, right? Our barbecue sauce in every state prison across the United States. I mean, at least we can start in California, right? Every school. I mean, so here's the deal. Tell me why this book doesn't fit your curriculum, California. That's what I want to know.
Well,
Right?
you know what? No
If we're the
disrespect. I want to know
California
why
that
it's
would
not
say
in
we
Vegas's curriculum. Listen, no disrespect, but why is it not out here? Like,
Working
look,
on
let this
that.
be known. I'm like you. It deserves to be everywhere. And my question is, again, and you guys know, again, I do deal with the school district out here. So when I do sit down at my next SOT meeting, I am going to propose, because again, we are the SOT. We help propose different things to be put into curriculum and things out here. So I'm going to this is. Like, I love it. Like, you guys came right on time, because I got a meeting coming up on the 6th of next month. Like, so I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, John, we're in the right place at the right what? Time.
Right time. Because I'm going to
the time is
actually
now.
propose
Right,
this next month when I
definitely.
sit down at the SOT, because it'll be, actually, I'm proposing it'll be proposed for a middle school and a high school, because I am the president of El Dorado and of El Dorado SOT, where my son
Isn't
goes.
that funny? And we're from El Dorado County.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. And then I'm,
Look at
for
that.
my daughter, because she goes to Cashman Middle School. So I'm the, you know what I mean? So I am going to propose this to both schools. And again, I have a couple of private schools that I'm going to, when I sit down with them and everything, because to me, I read the book. I sat down last night, like, we were on the phone. Like, I read it while we
Right.
were on the phone.
Right.
And sir, I must tell you, I was tremendously impressed, because for one, this is something that I wasn't taught in school. A lot of the information I got out of there, I wasn't taught this in school.
But if you put what that book is and you mix it with the American history, Gold Rush, it's in sync.
Yes, no, that's
You
what I'm
know?
saying. Like,
So
what I'm
it's like,
saying is, it doesn't. What I'm saying that I wasn't taught this in school is, I'm saying that I wasn't taught about your grandfather.
Right.
I was taught about Gold Rush.
Right.
But again, there was
That was
missing pieces. They
missing.
gave me a puzzle. But there was the major piece to the puzzle wasn't
missing.
there.
Yes.
And I love the fact that your book gave me that piece that I've been missing all these years, So it felt good to read this and to know, like, oh my God,
And
I know part of the family.
Right.
Like,
and imagine if we can do that for
If everybody could do that.
everybody and every African American as well.
I say this, America's tired of, a history that is boring and needs some flavor, right? So we've been singing this song, and that's got us nowhere. And so it brings me joy and a smile to my face to hear you tell me what you got out of the book. I know that this book is refreshing and will be to all walks, because it's something that's always been known but never ever revealed. And it's our true history, and you can't classify it into 1 month. Please don't do that. Right?
I hate
This
that.
is
I hate
American
that.
history. Right. This is American history. It's California history. But
But I can
I'll
say,
say
this.
when I put the
You guys
book
are so
together,
family.
when I put the book together, right? And I say there were 3 incredible women that actually. Kimberly Jones is a school teacher out of Oklahoma. There is a curriculum that follows. I've got a science project for the book. I've got math, science, and technology, all right, lesson plans for teachers. Michelle Knight did a great job taking my words, right, and putting them into context so that children would understand it. And my sister did a phenomenal job editing and helping make my words make sense, because you can hear me, I talk like a million miles per hour. I go back and forth. And so all that, we took three incredible women, black women, foundational black women, by the way, I give credit to, doing that to create this project, and get this end result of a product. And so I want to really just, I can't highlight that enough, but, I thank you for the opportunity to present. I make myself available, and please don't mistake my passion on the show. Anybody listening for anger? I'm not angry at all.
Oh no, I've
and
watched your interviews.
Right,
I've watched your interviews. What if I told you I picked up more of a? It's like I just want y'all to do right. I'm not mad, but you guys did do us wrong. Like, I know what you did, and I'm going to make my voice is going to be heard. You're going to hear me say what I have to say. So I don't take it as you're upset. I don't take it as you're angry. I take it as you're determined.
Right.
So there's a difference, and some people, again, is how people perceive things.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was interviewing with NBC Nightly News when they came out and visited me at the park, and I had the state parks PIO come and begin to share stories, actually almost trying to dismantle my stories. And I responded to her and I said, it's hurtful for you to come here and talk about things you don't know about. I've been doing this research for 3.5 years, and I got oral narrative and written documents that have been in my family for 170 years. I said, but to hear you come here and tell me what I can't connect or what I won't be able to do or can't prove is disturbing. Mm-hmm. And I said, before you do anything else, did you know about the Chinese people that, these gold miners, they blew up in the mines and let them stay there? Mm-hmm. Or that they just sunk the boats and I said, we don't talk about that history. She got teary-eyed. I said, you can relate to that, huh? Mm-hmm. She was Chinese. I said, so please don't do that. There's no need to even go there.
Right.
Now, one of the reporters said, John, I don't know how you handled her so succinctly. I said, because if I got mad and yelled, unfortunately, I'd be classified as the angry black man, mm-hmm. and I wouldn't get anything done. Mm-hmm. Right? I don't want people to fear me. Yeah, nobody would hear me. So thank you. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate it. So here's the thing. This is what I want to know. So, Ms. Andrea, you're going to start going around doing book readings, correct?
Right. May 1st, we're going to, here in Las Vegas, begin our book tour hopefully through the Clark County libraries. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to also do the Zoom. So we make it available, the reading.
The reading mm-hmm. on Zoom too.
For everyone.
Okay. That's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I just want to say this because I have a few things that I'll be doing. Like I have some stuff that I'll be doing in California. When I do go out there, I will be reaching out to Mr. Burgess. I want to reach out to you. Mm-hmm. I would love to have you guys both. Hey, y'all know me. I travel everywhere. I do what I got to do. I get to where I got to go. Yeah. I would love to actually, for the three of us to sit down, have an actual interview. Sit-down interview. Let's go over this again later, in a little, so we can get an update. Because I would like to keep up on the situation. I don't want this to be like some of the other interviews I do, where I bring the information to you guys, mm-hmm. but there's no update. Right. I want to know what's going on with the situation. I want to know, how does it turn out? I want to know when they award you guys your property back. You know what I mean? I want to be here for the after party because I know it's going to be a party and they're Absolutely. Going to turn around and do what they're supposed to do. Absolutely. It may take some time, mm-hmm. but again, like I said, I love the way you guys are fighting. So I would love to extend when I can to come out to California, and I would love to, if you guys have the time to, if I have to schedule it, set it up for us to do a sit-down interview. And actually, I would love to, if it was possible, do the walk you guys did. Do a little walkthrough. You guys show me. You inform me of your history. We take a walk and you guys inform me.
I already actually, I'd informed my uncle that I have a ton of our music family out here and people in the media
that would love to go do this.
That want to come out to Coloma and mm-hmm. get a Burgess descendant tour.
Yes. I don't want not trying to be funny. I don't want the whitewash tour. I don't want the whitewash tour. Okay, it is what it is. Y'all know it is reckless. This is rude. Okay, so y'all know I keep it real. I say it how I feel. Like, I'm sorry. I try to sugarcoat stuff, but it's never worked for me in 35 years. But one day. But again, like I said, I don't want the whitewash. I would love to have a full, real tour. I would like you guys to give me, you know what I mean, tell me those stories as we walk through. Let me in on some of your family stories. Tell me my grandfather did this here. This was the story my grandmother told me. Right. You know what I mean? Because again, those stories that you guys have are not going to be the stories that, even if we do look up stuff and find up stuff on your grandfather, it's not going to be the stories that you guys have.
Right.
You guys have the inside. You guys have the actual factual instead of the add-ins and the extras and the never happens and what ifs. No, you guys have the facts, and that's what I would love to actually take a tour to get the facts as I go along on this tour. So I cannot wait. Like I would love to be able to do that, and I thank you guys for taking the time. I definitely thank you, sir, because look. I've heard, I've done my homework, and you're not a sit around the house type of guy. I know you're kind of busy out there, and for you to take the time to do this interview with us,
So
I definitely want to say thank
what
you.
do you have, Uncle John, to
Yeah.
answer him on that?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, we'll set up some time. What I was going to say, it's been my pleasure. I got to run here, but what I will say is I'll extend this is, Vegas is a hop, skip, and a jump for me, flight, and I'm there. So if
Okay.
there's an opportunity to come and present to the school board and sit down with you in the month of May, let's get it scheduled because I got some time there. But I am, busy, but I may even have some business there. But I mean, I'd love to come and talk with, a board. I know the book just went for review for a whole school district.
Mm-hmm.
It was voted on yesterday.
Ooh.
I won't reveal the district yet because, but I'm sure that's going to go
Congratulations.
favorable as it should. Yeah. So,
So even
no,
with
I'd be
that,
more
we
than
would have
happy.
a lot of leverage here.
Yeah. And we'll schedule some time for me to, in fact, Adrian, just make sure that I get a cell phone and connection.
Got it.
And I'll do an email to you because I want to send you something anyway. And we can maybe look at some dates that be coming out. All right.
For sure.
Sounds
For
good.
sure. Thank you for
All right,
tapping in.
Thank you,
sir.
guys.
I would like to
Okay.
thank you for coming in, and I will talk with you soon. All right.
Good.
All right, bye-bye. You guys, that was Mr. Burgess right there. In case y'all didn't catch it, that right there, he came in, dropped some jewels, let us know what was what,
And
who
dropped a
took
lot.
what, a lot, who took
Right.
what. So, look, we got a few minutes. So before we get ready to run up out of here, it is only right that we do our, me and you, let's hop into a quick song real quick while we get it together before we run up out of here. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. So here we go, right here on Hot 72.5 FM. Let's run it.
Oh.
Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. Y'all know when it comes to the oldies, you know I be sitting over here. Okay. So listen, we got a few minutes. We're getting ready to wrap it up. You know, get ready to get up out of here. I want to thank Mr. Jonathan Burgess for coming through. I'd like to thank Miss Andrea for coming through. You know,
Adrian.
I don't know why I call you. Look, I have it sitting right here in front of me, but I am so sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You know,
I
that's
still
my
love
fault.
you. It's okay.
Listen, I call her GJ anyway.
That's
I'm sorry.
right.
Listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, listen, I call her Gigi anyway, so I'm not trying to be funny. But when the name, I'm trying to get used to the first name because I just call her Gigi. But okay, so I want to thank you guys for coming through. But now, before we get up out of here, I would like to know, for one, first thing first, what does a family plan on doing when you guys receive your property back? Mm-hmm. For the families that are on the property, do you guys want them gone, or do you guys plan on letting them stay?
There is no intent to remove anyone from the land.
Mm-hmm.
If they desire to leave the land, then of course, but there's no intent to remove anyone from the land. I think one of the main focuses is that our family history is represented properly.
Yes. Okay. Well, when this goes through, what can we see from you? Ms. Gigi, what can I expect to see outside of this? Because I know that there's a lot that has happened, and a lot of people believe in you guys, in your story. So, you know what? I'm not even going to ask what can we have. Why don't we just do your shout outs real quick to everybody that's believed in you, that's working with you, that's coming through, that is doing their part to see how and help get your word out there.
Oh, well, shout out to Hot 702.5.
You know it.
Shout out to the Love Group. I'm going to give shout out to BU Network.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Naturel, Malik Truth out there as well. Any and everybody that reads our timelines, who reads our family truth, and they share it one time. For the people that have purchased the book, the Burgess.
I did last night.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so it is the, it means so much to our family to share this information. Those are the people that are helping,
Yeah. Okay, so if anybody would like to reach out to you to follow up on the situation, social media, run it to them.
Absolutely. You can reach out. I'm on all social platforms, but my favorite is just follow me under Ms. Heavenly, MZ Heavenly.
All right, and that is on what social platform?
Those are on all social platforms.
Okay, so you guys, with that being said, you guys can keep updated with me right here on Hot 702.5 FM, or your boy, catch my real page at Mike Rue Mike or DJ Rue Mike. Y'all know, either one, I'm there. But again, I want to thank you guys for coming through, and this your boy right here on Hot 702.5 FM, and it's time to go. I'm out. All right, catch you Friday, 5 to 7.